Nothing will interrupt us tonight, folks. Welcome back to the Jake Feinberg Show. And I want you to talk about letting the body dance because I've been talking to Johnny Vidakovich quite a bit.
Love Johnny.
And Ron Krasinski today, led Dr. Dre's first drummer, NWA's first drummer. They were talking about like looking at rhythm as almost bouncing a basketball, the circles, as opposed to just some sort of meter.
Yeah.
Is that a natural thing, or is that something that you can talk to younger peeps about how to feel the music as a bounce rather than a click track?
Yeah, definitely. I believe that music should be an organic process. I think that obviously there's a lot of great producers these days that primarily use electronic means to create their music, and I wouldn't dog on that at all. I think also there's something to be said for just like four guys getting in a room and throwing down together and playing.
But have you always seen it as circles? Have you always seen talk about how you've seen rhythm in colors and in circles?
Yeah, well, I guess, I don't have synesthesia really, like in that sense, but I've always had like a very visual, like, sort of thing going on in my mind when I'm playing, like either visually seeing, like you're saying, like a ball bouncing, or whether it's like going this way or this way, or like imagining like a large group of people like clapping their hands over their head, or like, or like moving, it's all very, circles are a good way of thinking about time and just, recurrence of time. And also, you can have like oblong shapes where it's more of like a, quick pass. If you take a shaker, I wish I had a shaker with me, but if you move a shaker in a circle, you're going to get a sort of a swing, like, I've always thought that was a cool sort of representation of a circular rhythm with a shaker, an actual physical, like, representation of that movement. And that's why I've always really liked percussion too, just, shakers, tambourines, any kind of percussion really, because you're moving an object within an object, sort of like in a bigger motion meets a smaller motion, and it's all working together. So I don't know, that I guess that's kind of how I see that.
This is I wanted to Don Ellis. I don't know if you listen to Don Ellis at all, but some of his bands back in the late '60s, they had two upright basses, they had double drums. He had fluid arrangements.
Uh-huh.
Does Cats have fluid arrangements?
Yeah.
Explain how, because and explain the new album, how the album has grown from the interludes. But more importantly, the idea of, because there was a cat that I interviewed today in Franklin, Tennessee, Ron Krasinski. He's like, the fluid arrangements that Don Ellis did, he never has seen that again. But there's different iterations of that, and I just wonder about that as it relates to Cats, and also how close to the albums do the live shows come with Cats?
Well, I guess I'll start there and say
do it.
Close and not close at all at the same time, because what we're doing in the studio is essentially what we're doing live, but like you said, it's very fluid arrangements, so we're not going to be playing, maybe a solo is going to start out with like a hook or like a lick that the guys really like to play, or maybe it won't, but in any case, we're going to play the head of the tune, and then we're going to go wherever it takes us, and then depending on the arrangement or maybe the set list, if we're like planning to do some sort of a segue, or if we're going to just like, whatever it is, we'll kind of like play it from there. So like in that sense, I think it's very fluid.
Exactly.
And the music, you'll never, even if we play the same exact set list, which we rarely do, but even if we would do that, it would be a completely different musical experience because we're never going to be playing the same improvisations, or else it wouldn't be an improvisation. And that's really the meat of what Cats is. I mean, we're kind of taking like a jazz approach to rock dance music, whereas we play, like I said, we play the head.
Well, that was the folk aesthetic, the psychedelic folk. That's what they call the psych folk. You leave the head of the tune and you go.
Right, and then we.
But I wonder, is there opportunities now? I went to Wachikis to see you guys, and I got Grateful Shred, which was a great treat.
Oh yeah.
Dan Horn rocking it.
Yeah.
But do you guys incorporate more bass? Are you opening it up to bass and drums at all in the shows? I wanted to always let you know. I always wanted that Tony Williams, Ron Carter, breaking up time and form. That's going deep. Do you give opportunities to expand just using bass and drums during the tunes, or is it just with Neil and Adam just soloing?
There are moments, but it's not predominant in the music. There are moments when it breaks down to just bass and drums, but focus in that project is to move people physically, emotionally, just get. I've been really interested in just syncing up like the circadian, circadian rhythms, just like serotonin release that comes from people experiencing consistent rhythm over an extended period of time. So like, Cats tunes generally run from 10 to 20 minutes, so we're able to sort of like go to those places at times. And the bass and the drums is the foundation of where we build that from. Dan is very solid bass player, and I try to do the same thing on the kit. And Neil and Adam rhythmically also are very in tune to that, and hip to that idea.
Do you think that there's what's the biggest difference between the first album and this newest album? Patience, maybe patience.
I would say patience is just a kind of a tenet of the band, of the projects in general. The biggest difference, I guess, would be the fact that we were commissioned to do the first one for a specific thing, and we had a pretty, we had guidelines. We had to hit specific feels and sort of moods. The follow-up, Let It Wander, is just us doing whatever we wanted to do with no guidelines, except that we did want it to be really danceable and feel good, and we think it retained the vibe of the band, so we didn't lose like our identity or anything like that, or our sonic identity. And then beyond that, I guess it's the only difference is that we had time to overdub on the second one. The first one was like we didn't even have time to listen back to anything.
The whole thing, I documented it with Castaway. It was mind-boggling. One final question, I'll let you go.
Cool.
Like when Melvin Seals joined Garcia Band, he used to want to listen to Merle Saunders. When he first joined, they said no, because then you're just going to play just like Merle. So when you're out here with CRB, what did you take? Did they say listen to Leone or just go with your own? Oh. And what do you love about Tony Leone's drumming?
Everything. I mean, I love
break it down. He'll be tuning in.
Tony is an incredible drummer and musician. You can hear his musicality in everything that he plays. And in this instance, I'm not his replacement. I'm his substitute.
But you had to get used to the tune. So did they even say what did they get you?
So,
how did they get you ready?
The Raven sent me a bunch of recordings.
The Raven.
Yeah, the Raven is our monitor engineer.
Raven's real
and archivist, and he sent me a bunch of live recordings. I mainly ended up using the March European tour that they did at the beginning of this year, and I kind of compiled a master list and then just started diving in. And then at this point, we're like 2 weeks into the tour, I've got about 45 charts made, and I use those charts every night. I've handwritten every one, so it's like my own process of going through the tunes and sort of deciding like, this is really important. I gotta play this.
I dig.
This is really important for the arrangement, and this band has incredible arrangements. It's very involved.
Are there odd time signatures?
Sometimes, yeah. There's some 7, there's some 10, there's some 5, there's some bars of 2 that happen at the end of the phrases sometimes. Like, so there's definitely, it's not just like you go and then space out and then the song is over. It's
right.
like super involved the whole time. It's very much, it's very much about the song. So I guess to really answer your question, I think Tony did an incredible job writing parts for these songs, and these guys all have their parts for these songs and like really great arrangements. So I am not in a position as a substitute drummer for a tour to try to change any of that. I'm really literally just like trying to jump onto the train without it slowing down. You know what I mean? So like I'm like, it's been my whole goal just to like meet them where they are, and then obviously we're gonna make music. We're making music out here, but like it's within the songs, within the framework.
The training wheels are off though.
Well,
I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm going to see tonight and tomorrow in Atlanta. I just want to say, Mr. Levy, it's an honor to connect with you. Rockalon Bob Moses will be tuning in.
Well,
let the body dance. That's it. It's a basketball.
Mad respect to my teachers, including Rockalon, and it's been years since I've seen him. But we're going to be in Boston in a few weeks and
figure it out.
Yeah, we're
all
playing
right.
at Paradise, so I'm gonna reach out to Rockalon for sure.
Yeah, have a great gig, man. Good
Thanks,
to hang.
man. Right on. Thank
Later.
you.